Hello, this is my 2022 Triumph Speed Twin, and I've owned this bike for a few months now, so before it gets too cold in Pennsylvania and snowy, I just wanted to give some riding impressions of this bike and how it feels to ride, as opposed to my other bike is a Yamaha Tracer 9 GT. So that's I don't know if you can call it the sport touring brother of the MT-09. So it's a triple engine. So this is a big 1200 twin engine, and you can see that it revs out at about 7,000, whereas the other bikes keep going to 13 or higher. So really two different bikes, and I do like this, that you get a lot of torque right up front, and just the feel of this, almost kind of like a naked bike, being able to go around, feel the wind, especially in the summer, is pretty good in my view. So it's like, to me, it's not a long distance touring bike. Here, let me shut this off. It's really not a long distance touring bike, like that's what I have the Tracer 9 GT. But in terms of just having fun on the back roads and the twisties, and just being out there, no windscreen, just feeling that wind, that's really what I like about this. And it has plenty of power. In terms of what you get, with the dash as well, it's very simple, which is what I like. In terms of changing modes, right here, you can go to your rain, you can go to your road, sport, whichever one you want to do. One button, pretty darn easy. As well, for this button here, you can change your traction control, your odometer, your trip, basically miles per gallon, the time. It's simple. There's just simplicity with it, and to me it's a bike you get on it and you go and ride. And if you're into adjust certain things, then you got two buttons, and that's basically it. So I like it for that. So I'll go around a bit just to give riding impressions. Put this down. I do like the engine note as well. That is nice. So I used to have a Triumph Street Triple before this, and I traded that in for the Tracer 9 GT because I wanted more of a sport touring bike. The Tracer 9 comes with the heated grips and the cruise control and the side cases. So in terms of going out longer trips and just having a little more comfort, that's the reason I did it. But the Street Triple was a fun bike, and I wanted a fun bike like that too, but something maybe different, a little smaller. The triples, really, they like to live in the higher revs. They'll scream, the engine's going to scream, it's loads of fun. But what I like with this bike, it's just, you get a lot of torque, it seems, well, to me anyways, at low revs. You can get going, and it just goes. It keeps pulling and pulling, and it's a lot of fun, I think, with this one. I think it probably, I should have looked that up, but I think it has about 100 horsepower. And it'll go. I mean, that's one thing I like with this. It's at low RPMs. It gives you a lot of torque. Whereas the triples, yeah, it gets going, but you got to get about 5,000 and then it starts screaming. So in essence, in terms of that engine, that's a big plus for me. The fact that I can just get going quickly with that torque. You get that acceleration feeling at low revs. It's a lot of fun with that. You can see it just screams. If you want to get it to the high revs, it'll go. So in terms of the engine, yes, I think for if you're into the the higher horsepower. So they have the Street Twin, but this one with the higher horsepower, you know, it's for me, it's really nice. In terms of how it corners and everything like this, it does a rather good job. Now, you can't really adjust that suspension too much, so in terms of taking tight turns at speed, I think it wobbles a little more than, say, the Street Triple, and that's to be expected. You know, that the Street Triple was quite firm, I would say. You couldn't adjust that suspension in terms of the dampening, you know, electronically or anything like this. But this one here, you know, gets you maybe 85% of the way there. I think it's still pretty tight. I can feel it in the turns where, you know, it's not quite as planted as the Street Triple, but overall, it's a really good job, though, I find. I do feel confident in twisties. The very first bike I had was a Honda Shadow, and let's just say that, you know, when you took a tight turn on that, the whole thing had to settle first, and then it would turn, and this doesn't quite do that. You know, it's quite tight. So cornering, you can have a lot of fun with it. Just don't expect the, you know, the sort of Street Triple precision in that sense, but lots of fun with the acceleration. You can really feel it. It feels like a bike you can throw around as well, which is what I like with it. In terms of comfort, the bike itself, the seat's pretty good. You can buy a comfort seat, so it's kind of quilted, and it's not a huge, it doesn't really change the seat height or anything like that. I think the quilting is the magic there. It gives you a little more comfort if you're going to go a little longer. Not day and night, you know, chasing seats is a tough one. You know, if you find yourself in pain, typically it can be a never-ending quest, but this isn't too bad at all for a few hours. And if you want to stretch it a bit, maybe that comfort seat will help you, but I find it to be okay. You know, the Street Triple was painful after a few hours. This isn't as painful at all. So it's pretty good, and I can't really complain too much about it. Now we'll take a right here. There we go. What I like with a bike with no windscreen is just that open feeling. So, you know, if you have a big windscreen sometimes, it's just, I don't know, sometimes you don't feel as connected. Now that's just me, but this is what I like. So this, compared to, it seems more approachable and more throwable as compared to, say, the Street Triple in that sense. You can just have some fun with this, and you know, you still have your ABS, you still have some traction control. And you get up to speed really quickly with it as well. So, you know, just a fun little bike, as I'd say. When I ride for a few hours on it, in terms of the ergonomics, I found with the Street Triple that I leaned forward a bit. So, you know, I did put risers, but this one I'm pretty neutral. Maybe I mean, there's a slight forward lean with it, but certainly not as bad as what the Street Triple was, and that wasn't bad at all either. I mean, if we're doing comparisons, so you can ride a bit for a while and not feel that pressure on your wrists. And of course, you can always get risers if you want, but the mirrors, I know that at speed aren't that buzzy at all. So if you had a Street Triple, the RS came with these mirrors or similar mirrors, and at speed they get buzzy. so you wouldn't see too much out of it. This is better, let's put it this way. So I don't feel a need to change out these mirrors. I had done so on my Street Triple. I had the R, but I tried the RS mirrors and didn't like them at all. So I just put Rizomas, and that solved the issue. You do have to be careful in some states where they look at the square footage of the mirror to pass you for inspection. Some places, you know, if they're too small, the mirrors, they won't pass you, so you'll have to put them back, and yeah, it's a pain. But no, these are just fine, and I see fine. I mean, not too much of the shoulder and stuff like that, so I don't find a need to change them. For this bike, what I did too is I got some protection elements in case I drop it. I probably intend to keep this one for a while. I just like throwing it in the back roads like this. It's loads of fun. And so I did get the engine guards that just bolt on the bottom, and on the side here you can see I got, I guess, the crash bars, if you want to call them that. They stick out a bit, but they're not too bad. I mean, you know, of course, if aesthetically, if you want the bike to look to stock, or the way it, you know, to look pure, then yeah, you're not going to get something like this. But it just makes me feel a little better about dropping the bike if it happens. Yes, the key is not to drop it. But so you can see once you're riding what these look like, and they're not too bad, let's put it this way, for me in any case. Some people won't like them though, understandable. So yeah, I think with those and those engine covers, I should call them, anything happens, it shouldn't be too expensive to get things fixed. These will certainly protect the tank, I believe, so that's one thing. Yeah, but the key is not to drop it, so overall I've been really happy with this bike. For me, it's a backroads bike that I can throw around, and you know, with that big twin, it just seems to just get going pretty quickly at low RPMs, and I enjoy that. That's what I enjoy. Now, yes, you're done by 7,000. And as you get to the 7,000 mark, you know, it'll vibrate a bit. You'll feel it in your seat, but really, I don't think it's a bike that you're not going to take it to 7.2 redline all the time like that. I don't think it's meant for that. By 6,000, you've got plenty of get up and go with this bike. So that's the 2022 Triumph Speed Twin. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and you know, my update after a few months of ownership, and hopefully it was helpful. Thank you.